plays just how you planned it. Life could put you in a pickle, just make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses. And if you wanna be a chef, then I say cook it up. And if you wanna be the champ, well I say hook it up. Cause I can never tell you what you can't be. Yes I can, see a failure is something you can't be. Plus, I get you a shuttle if you feel that you need space. The sky's the limit, get you wings for your birthday. Whatever makes you happy, if you like it, then I love it. Turning nothing into something, I'm all in and I ain't bluffing. I'm who you got when the world ain't got your back, man. I pull over when life puts you in the fast lane. I'm in your corner like Bandini, if you tumble, I tell you like him. Rumble, young man, rumble, see.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. So, if you can see the thumbnail, excuse me, we got a little bit or a lot of bit to talk about today. I can be here tonight, so we're gonna get into this topic. And the topic is basically this. Beware of the fight for the Manosphere throne. Just is my personal opinion. Every time somebody has gotten growth, viral, fame, more money, there's been a shift from being cool with the person to being a hater of the person, right? And with the recent passing of Kevin, there's been a lot of respect, and there's been a lot of disrespect. But I'm not going to talk about that per se, because just the way I see it is, in my opinion, the people who had an issue with his success, some of them are like, you know what? It's water under the bridge. It wasn't that serious. Well, I probably shouldn't have had an issue with him. Now looking back on it, I get that. There are other people who are like, maybe didn't I got an opportunity now. Maybe just maybe I could be the next one to blow up. Maybe just maybe, it's my time. Maybe just maybe this could get me in the right space. And you're gonna see a lot of people, just in my opinion, who are gonna push for the quote unquote throne. And the thing about it is, that's for the people to decide. That's for the people to decide. I'm not saying, you shouldn't evolve, grow, and change your approach. As you can see, I was changing mine, because I had all this stuff I didn't use, so I got to use it. But when it comes to this particular conversation, there are going to be a lot of people who, maybe I could do the exact same show that he did. Probably not, but I'm sure somebody's going to try. Because maybe they can get the quote unquote throne. Maybe they can get that spot because it looks appealing. It looks like, oh man, I could get that kind of success. And maybe I get people coming in and super chatting and subscribing. And maybe I have all these shows and maybe I'll be interactive. And, I call and the ladies, I can have call-ins. And it's like, interesting. They're going to be guys and women who had a dislike for what Kevin was doing and going to turn around and do the exact same thing that he was doing or try to do it. And then all of a sudden, everybody's going to forget that they had all of these issues, right? You see a bunch of people who are consistent. They disrespected the man when he was alive, and they disrespected him while he dead. But at the same time, it's more like, maybe this is gonna give me some views. If you're the type of person that needs to disrespect the person in their death, and you just it's on your heart to do it, and you got to do it on social media, I don't know what kind of growth you're looking for, but it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Already happened, fam. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. This is why I'm making this to a degree. I feel you. They're sad. You know, they got people who are really, you know, are going to have a conniption fit because maybe they don't want to do the image thing. As you can see, I'm normally in lounge wear, right? So how many people are willing to dress up every night? You know, how many of the people are willing to dress up every night and be classy every night? I don't think that many. I don't think that many are that into image like that. I just don't. But I think people are gonna try. Like, this, you know, it's time for the real ones to come to the top. Well, maybe, just maybe. You know, I think there's gonna be a point where people double down on the men because, you know, the people who go, well, you know, to be successful, you're gonna need the ladies. Like, I can't argue with that. You got to be interactive with the ladies, and it'll probably bring you more success. But what about the thing that you can't help these ladies? You know, you just can't. You know, if you give them constructive criticism, is bashing. If they ask you for advice and you give them advice that they don't like, or somebody listening doesn't like, it's bashing. You know, it's misogynistic, it's misogynoir, it's blah blah blah. So the problem at the end of the day is, you know, you're gonna see a fight for the throne, and this ain't even necessarily guys in the Black manosphere. It could be guys in the Black manosphere. It could be guys adjacent, because there are a lot of guys who are not necessarily in the Black manosphere, but they're just doing the very same thing that the Black manosphere is doing without being labeled being in the Black manosphere, using the Black manosphere's audience and talking points and taking them to I couldn't say a different demographic or a newer demographic, sometimes a younger one, but more so they're staying out of shadow band territory. You know, that's what it is, you know. So, in my opinion, people are gonna fight. You know, beware the people who fight for the throne. And then you're gonna have these individuals who have been around the Black manosphere, but they don't like it. They're kind of detractors, or they're adversarial in a sense. You know, they're gonna get, you know, they're gonna kind of claim that they're in it and claim that they're not in it, and always trying to be a contrarian to it. And hopefully, you know, all the people that celebrated the brother's passing, hopefully they can form like Voltron and have a whole nother bitter sphere, right? You know, but because we can fight for the throne, and you know, have at it. I don't know if that's gonna work, but you know, it is what it is. You know, I don't think he'll ever be replaced either. You can't replace a human being that's irreplaceable. Most of us human beings are irreplaceable. We're gone for good. You know, that you know. I also think, you know, like I said, people are gonna try, because there's probably gonna be a white version, whether it's on social media or they actually, you know, create a talk show. Like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to American Idol this thing. And if you don't know what I mean by the American Idol reference, American Idol is nothing but, was basically Showtime at the Apollo, the white version. So I would not be surprised if there's another guy that's propped up, or not even propped up, but a show that comes out very much so similar that's even on network television, to mimic the very same thing, and the guy might not even, not necessarily, he might be used to say, look how bad men are, or it could be used to be a straight shooter, who knows? But it's going to be a fight for the quote unquote throne, and I look at it like, when a team has a all-time great player or great player, and they either retire or they get traded, and the team is never right after that because they keep trying to replace them, but they can't. This is what it looks like to me. Then you're gonna have people who, there's gonna be some infighting with brothers, just on one, in a sense of, now we could get back to playing the as Edward Anderson was saying, the other brothers were saying in the space, the Highlander. They can only be one game, because I think it's not gonna be a lot of drama and beef in the short term, because first of all, I think a lot of brothers, I think a lot of brothers, major players, are gonna go to a brother's funeral, and I think they're gonna get back on YouTube, heavy after that. It's just my opinion, because this was a big blow, not necessarily passing away, because everybody passes away. I think the disrespect and the posturing and the position is what's making this an issue. I think that's the biggest, that's the issue that people are really having. I don't think it's shock value though. I ain't even gonna front with you, T. I think at the end of the day, I think us as Black people, we have an issue with reality. I think that's the problem. I think it's hard. I think it's so many of us Black folks who don't want to admit that we really have an issue with dealing with reality. We'll shuck and jive it up to ignore reality. Reality shouldn't be shock value. And the fact that reality has become shock value for us says how bad we've been, we've gone down the wrong path. I'll say it that way. And I think you're going to see a lot of people who get back to shock and awe. A lot of people get down to dirty antics. Not dirty antics, but just, controversial antics like people are doing in a sense now, where, I gotta cut up. I gotta cause some drama. I gotta, take a shot at this person, take a shot at that person. This is my opportunity to do some passive aggressive, soft stuff. So this is going to be a problem. It's going to be a big problem. But I think people are going to quote unquote fight for the Manosphere throne. I think people are going to just, not going to say that they're trying to fight for it, but, I don't expect anything else. I don't expect this to be a kumbaya moment. I do expect, brothers actually to go through a period where we're at least going to give brothers their flowers. But I think that's just going to happen until the next person has a massive growth. Like, there's going to come a point where there's going to be another brother who just 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, maybe 500,000 subscribers within this year, and everybody might be cool with them until they see the growth, and then it's going to be like, oh, here we go again, or the put me on Olympics. That you ain't really, unless you put me on Olympics. You get what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a problem. So now it's like, doesn't matter. And I gotta talk about this from this other perspective too. When I say there's people gonna be outside of the space, or people who are adversarial to the space. There are people who enjoy the drama so much that they'll find drama in this space that don't exist just to keep it going. Just to keep it going. Just to keep it going. Because people think they can drama and controversy their way to the top. And to me, there is no top. Just for the record, there is no top. Like you got a bunch of people who make great content. That's what this is. It's a bunch of people who make great content. But to gain the audience attention, you got to do certain things. And you're gonna find, in my opinion, you're gonna see it. That's all love, fam. Like, you're gonna see it. And I'm gonna tell you how you gonna see it. Because, I would say in the next few weeks or the next month or two, that whole economy, like, it's gonna be a shift in people's economy in the sense of, especially on social media, because how many people are going to use Kevin's old videos to make reaction videos now? Like, there are whole channels that were pretty much based in reacting to Kevin, or something in Kevin's ballpark. Reaction videos are already there, but that genre of it is going to take a hit. And what are those people going to do? Now you need to create another show. Or are you going to go to, are you going to use clips of maybe Lapeef Network? Maybe you will, Are you going to use the guys, I forget, more fresh and fit clips? Or are you going to use more, I forgot the three brothers at the table. I forgot their names. But are you going to use more and more things like that? Like, let's see what these women are talking about again. And, or are you going to start your own Instagram show, right? And speaking of that, Instagram show or YouTube show in a sense, are you going to get upset when women start gravitating to women? Because I think, what is that lady's name? Kendra G? I think women are going to start doing it more. I think women are going to gain traction faster than men. But I ultimately think what's happened in the past is going to happen in the future. Ladies are going to get tired of ladies' BS, and they're going to ride for a little bit, and then they're going to quit. And they might do something, pivot and do something completely different for a while, because they're going to get tired of the shenanigans. So that's what is going to happen. Mm-hmm. So when people talk about the message, when people talk about, the message might change or the message might deviate or what we're going to do next, people are going to do what they've been doing already. The question is, people are trying to figure out who people are going to gravitate to. That's what that is, and it's sad that, it's like that. Who are people going to gravitate to? That's what people want to know. Now, one of the other things is, and because I saw the same thing with O'Shea, I saw the same thing with Kevin, I saw the same thing with Mediocre Tutorial. You can say the same thing with Poor Man Podcast. You can say the same thing with Step is Cold. You can say the same thing with AMS. I saw content creators like, why not me? Like, I'm good, I think I got a good thing going here. Why not me? And you're gonna see a lot of people go, you know what? I haven't been a man yet, so you know what? If I got to diss a person to get there, or try to ruin a person's reputation, or become hypocritical, or extra controversial, cool. You're gonna see people go, maybe double down on their BS, and you might see people go completely outside of their lane and try something new, and see if that works. But ultimately, is it actually gonna be about the message? Is it actually going to be about bettering the space, bettering men's lives, men's, giving brothers information. Is the and the crazy part about it is, whether people like to admit it or not, the relationship part is really the biggest part of the Black Manosphere. Because, and the reason why I say it's going to be a fight for the throne, because one thing I can say that's going to be true, that is true, the Black Manosphere created a great space. Black men don't have a safe space. We just got a great space. But every time men create a space, women come. So they're probably going to be more women who gravitate to the space, maybe either trying to actually find somebody else that can get them the same message that they were looking for, or they're going to look for people to quote unquote find, to get offended by, and quote unquote cancel, right? And hopefully they cancel enough people that the last of the Mohicans rises to the top, type of thing. It's stupid, but it happens. It happens. So now, because I think they're going to be people who try to control the narrative of what Black men have to say, what Black men think. When Black men see a subject where we go, okay, I'm going to tell you why this is a problem. I'm going to tell you why this is good and why this is bad. You're going to see more cocktails with the queens type things. You're going to see that more, because people are going to, have their issues. They're going to have their issues, and they're going to change the narrative of the space. And it is what it is. And I'm not going to say, is it unfortunate? Yeah, but this ain't the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time this has happened. But now people, hey, you can't disagree with it. Yeah, but there's no canceling the space. You need a bad guy. The unfortunate thing about the Black Manosphere is portrayed as the bad guy, but has more usefulness than the good guys. Not to mention that, but you're gonna see, the panderers. The panderers are gonna fight for the quote unquote throne too. You're gonna see and personally, I believe it's gonna be a separation. The guys that pander, I don't think the men are gonna get into a war of words per se with these guys, but it's gonna come a point where it's like, you know what, if you're trying to make your bid to quote unquote get the throne or whatever, we're gonna let you pander. Go pander. Go do it. Go enjoy yourself. Go have a great time pandering, and take everybody who wants to be pandered with you. And and when that doesn't work, it's not our fault, right? I think when it comes to everybody 35 and older like myself, I don't think people lose clout. I think it's just like rap. It's just like rap was. You just want to hear a younger voice, even if they're saying the exact same thing as the older voice. You just want to hear it from a certain person. So here's what it is. We can't control that. There's always going to be that double standard with Black America. It's always going to be that double standard. So that's how it goes. That's how it's always been. That's how it was in the past. That's how it's going to be in the future. So the other thing, I'm not going to be surprised that, and this sucks to say this, there are going to be people who wind up being complete hypocrites, complete utter hypocrites. All the things that they said they wouldn't do when they couldn't do and they wasn't going to do, because they're going to do a 180 and do all the things that they said they wouldn't do, because it's like, man, I might see a better opportunity. And you can say you've changed, you can say you've evolved, you can say you've grown, you can say you're different, but truth be told, no, you're just looking for an opportunity. Doc, thanks, man. Exactly. I definitely agree with you on that. But I know there are going to be some people who want to, quote unquote, fight for the throne. Some people just, I got to be number one. And that's outside of most people's control. Some people are going to take the route where, you know what? How can I be controversial enough to get on World Star? Because that'll do it. Like, if I get on World Star, I'll go viral. And then to come back to YouTube and I can go viral again. It's like, I don't know if you want to do that, but you don't control that either. But if you pushing to get on World Star, I'm sure you're gonna find we've had a lot of blow ups in this space with a lot of people. So, if you ain't on World Star by now, it's probably because you ain't gonna be on World Star. That's not what they want, And the other thing of it is this, and this is what sucks the most. You're going to have people fighting for the quote unquote throne that know we can't do it in a classy way, because people say you get more flies, you get more bees with honey than vinegar. But the only problem is, in our community, the vinegar makes you talk more. The vinegar makes you keep coming back. When somebody's sour with you, for some odd reason, you just got to be there over and over and over again. We're not addicted to somebody being nice and sweet and getting over. We're addicted to, quote unquote, pain. Even though, it's really not pain. It's normally just constructive criticism in reality. But, we need reality, but we don't. But like I said earlier, we view reality as a bad thing. Thanks, Doc. So now, I gotta pivot for a second and say something that is just, when the ladies continue to grow as they will, fellas, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. When the guys start cussing y'all out, because when brothers start supporting women, because for saying the same thing that the men have been saying, and that's what it's about. Because I've talked about it before. I don't have a problem with anybody getting support, anybody winning. I want everybody to win. But I can't say, I don't know how I don't think brothers would take it in a great way if, there was a black woman who wound up ascending because of this. And a black woman who's in this space or adjacent to this space starts ascending because of this. And it's like, well, you watching her because you got a crush on her, you watching her because you like her. But damn, what about all the work that brothers put in? Well, I hate to break the news to you. Nobody's loyal. Nobody's loyal to a content creator. People are loyal to the content, or people are loyal to the wave that might have came with the content. But nobody's loyal to like the content creator. It's just like listening to music. Like, you might like one song from this person and you might like 5 from that person. You're not going to keep playing the same artist's album over and over and over again because you like a particular song they made. That's not going to happen. There's no loyalty there. There's just, I like this and this. So it is what it is. So when the ladies take a rise, so be it. Now, some of you guys, if y'all think y'all gonna come in here and pump people to get ahead, I'm gonna tell you what's, you're gonna fight your way to get ahead by, disrespecting or trying to quote unquote bully people. I'm gonna tell you what's really gonna happen. In light of what has happened, in light of the disrespect people have shown, all you folks who really just like being over the top and salacious and disrespectful, don't expect kindness in return. Don't expect class in return. Don't expect a no beef policy. Now, expect for guys to really get at you, go at your head, and it get real ugly with some folks. It get real ugly. Don't expect that you can say whatever you want to say and do whatever you want to do, and people got to deal with this and deal with that. It's gonna be a problem, and some of y'all gonna need to get y'all head knocked off. I'm just being honest. Like, even though it's quote unquote a fight, some people gonna fight for the throne. Some people gonna need to get their heads knocked off. Period. Point blank. Period. And on top of that, I think there's gonna be a separation, a big separation. I might be wrong, but I think I think people are gonna go in a separate directions. You're gonna have people who want to be functional and who want to be dysfunctional, and you're gonna see which direction people want to gravitate to, whether it be in views, whether it be in donations, whether it be AdSense, whether it be if they wind up having an interactive platform, which one is more conducive to what people are looking for. It's gonna be a problem, man. It's gonna be a huge problem. It's gonna be a huge problem. So now you're gonna see brothers fighting for the quote unquote throne. And you're gonna see people hold guys to unrealistic standards. People that, hey man, you didn't rock with this person, but now you want to rock with this person. And it's okay. And you're gonna see brothers ascend. I'm really glad. I hope Dennis Sperling, TLA, and MTR, take what Kevin did to the next level, because obviously they were planning that was the last group really pictured together. So I hope whenever they can, I hope they grow and take it, another step forward. I really do. And I know if that happens or when that happens, I know people are gonna have an issue. Like I saw like 1,000 and something people in Dennis Sperling's chat. Man, cool. I applaud that. Keep up the good work. Now, here's the thing. Also, outside of that, people are gonna come at them because of that. There's more jealousy and hate. But let me backtrack by saying this: there are gonna be a lot of people who are gonna be stuck because they can't really make content. And that's where I think we're gonna have a big issue in the space where, do people want controversy or do people want content? You know what I'm saying? So there's gonna be people fighting for the throne, and some people are gonna go the controversy route, and some people are gonna go the content route. And some people are gonna want drama, dissing and trolling. The trolling route is not really gonna work because trolls been there the whole time. That's what trolls do. Trolls troll people. They don't actually make content. Their content is trolling people for fun because they think it's cute. It's stupid to me, but it's a free country. Now, I will say this. The one thing that I think is going to go across the board is for the people who have interactive shows, they're going to be the people who want to create a successful show. There's going to be more boundaries and standards. You're not going to call into somebody or come up on somebody's show and then all of a sudden, you just want to be ignorant for ignorance sake. You have to conduct yourself like an adult. If we all adults, I think that's the one thing, that's one major thing that Kevin left, is the fact that if you want to have a successful show, you have to have some sense. You have to have people who have sense. And if they don't have sense, you got to get rid of them. Just like that. So I think one of the things that's about to happen, people are going to fight for the throne, even though they're going to have shows. If you call it being stupid, you got to go. You got to go. If you show up, what we talking about? Bye. If you show up, hey, well, I'm going to talk about this. That's not the topic. Bye. And people are going to have an issue with that, but that's what's necessary. You know what I'm saying? But, and I think that's going to go across the board. I think it's just going to go way, way across the board. So you're going to have issue after issue after issue after issue after issue. You know, I don't have to entertain you. I don't want to. I could, but I won't. Now, personally, what I'm really interested to see in the next, few weeks or the next few months, is all of the people who had issues. Let's see how they move forward. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how they move forward. Like, do you really think, you're going to see people who go after this all dies down? You really think you're going to see productive people? Just like, if you think that, I'm not too sure about you. Just to be honest, because one of the things that rubbed me the wrong way was this celebration. For all the people who celebrated that made content, where's your content gonna go from this point forward? I want to love to see it. I would love to see it because I already know it's gonna go downhill. I already know that. And the same people who like playing in swine or playing in the mud with the pigs are gonna be the same people crying about why I'm in the mud with the pigs. I don't belong in this mud. No, that's where you live at. That's where you live at. So now, we got more and more people who trying to think to play a game. And the issue is going to always be the issue. You're going to see people fighting. The same thing with the Tom Likas thing. There's going to come a point where people, like, there's going to be somebody else who gets a lot of support or gets a lot of views, and people are going to say, well, they did what I was doing. They stole from me. They da-da-da-da-da. I invented the word the, and they say the. And because they say the way that I say they're a complete utter fraud. You're going to get that all over again. But this time, it's going to be different. This time, people are going to shoot back. So if you decide to shoot at somebody with your, let's say, with your rifle, expect for somebody to shoot back with a 50 cal. Just expect that. Just expect that back. Because what's about to happen is what people don't want to deal with. There are people who do not want to fight for the throne, in the manosphere. They don't. They want to continue doing what they've been doing. And some people are going to play a game where, well, you know what? That person may be in my way because they got a hold on this space that if I can't get around that hold, I can't grow like I want to. Because there are going to be people playing these stupid Game of Thrones games thinking that, if I get rid of this person and this person and this person, or if I disparage this person, I can rise to the top. And really, what you're going to wind up doing is backing yourself into a corner where you get jumped online. Because I would love to say, the classiness will continue, but there are going to be people who are outside of the Black manosphere that just don't want no parts of the drama. Because there will be no king. Like, people are fighting for the throne. There is no king. That's the thing. This is not it. The Black manosphere is the kingdom, but there is no real king of the space. They're guys we call a king because they've done so much. But they're not just one person. It's multiple people we can call the king of the space. Multiple people. So, and some of those people are going to be fighting for the throne because they don't feel like they got that number one spot. They want the number one headband like Afro Samurai. And some people will do whatever it takes to get it, right? Tom Likas is his own entity, to be perfectly honest. but you just gotta take time out of your day to do that. A lot of people don't realize, and there's been a lot of, and the reason I'm making this is because there's been a lot of sucker stuff happening. You've gotten to see a lot of people's, how can I say this, inner, let's say, I'm pouring tea, so excuse me. Inner, feminine ways pop up. You've seen people act really, act like a little broad under this circumstance when they shouldn't have to, and when it causes people to look at them like, what? That's not a good look, bro. I didn't think you was that type of person to do that. That's happened a few times. But I think at the end of the day, people are gonna be people. People are gonna gravitate what they like, to who they like, to the type of vibe they like, to the type of environment they like. But I think this is gonna be a great, great opportunity for people to watch and look. People, they are getting away with cheap shots. People are watching and looking and like, if you rock like that, I see what's going on. So I'm gonna state a few things, and a lot of people understand that, if you watch me long enough, you know how I get down. This is, like I talked earlier about it, the most popular part of this space is dating. So for all you guys who want quote unquote Kevin Samuel's spot, if you go down the dating and relationship route, you're gonna have to talk to women, and you're gonna have to not be socially awkward. And for a lot of you, I don't know if you could do that. You're gonna have to not be socially awkward, and you're gonna have to not, how can I say this? Boy, it's gonna be difficult to say. And you're gonna have to actually be able to have a conversation with women. You're gonna have to have patience and not be impatient and just talking rhetoric. And a lot of brothers can't do that. A lot of brothers, you don't have a sense of humor. You can't interact with other women. Like, I ain't gonna lie, it ain't that difficult to interact with women. People talk about all this game that you need to have, but the problem with all this game is, do you ever implement it? All these people got all the game in the world, but we talk about game all the time, but what it takes all the time, but so obviously you never implementing all this game, so you wind up in the same spot over and over and over and over and over again, which means either you're scared or you're horrible at it. It's one or the other. So when people want to go for the throne, I don't know if you could do that. Can you be with what women are looking for? I don't know if you could do that. Even can you, quote unquote, fake it until you make it? I don't know if you could do that. For some of y'all, can you show your face? I don't know if y'all can do that. I don't know if you could do that. I really don't. And a lot of people gonna have to deal with that reality, man. Deal with that fact that, we're at a point in life, where you're gonna have the people you gravitate to might be a representation of you. Not might be, they are. They're gonna be a representation of you. So guess what's gonna happen? If you on the side of your favorite YouTuber, that's cool. But if your favorite YouTuber wants the throne and they do suspect sucker stuff to get there, that's also a representation of what you are and what you would do and what you're willing to do. There are no more bystanders anymore. I watch people, I like people, I listen to them, but I don't act like that. No. Birds of a feather flock together. That's what's gonna happen. And you might be not really eagles, because the eagles fly alone. But you could be a pigeon, you could be a buzzard. You get what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But I'm a, I'm a, I'm gonna see what y'all think. I got a little time today, you know. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat real quick. You know, and it makes sense, folks. Please, you know. But I'm gonna put the link in the chat. It is what it is. Anybody could come up and change my little background thing real quick. Because nowadays we're gonna have an issue. We're gonna have a huge issue. So part of what the problem is nowadays is gonna be very simple. And for all you people who are detractors, that's all good. But your life gonna have to have results. Because if all you are is a detractor of the Black Manosphere, and all you do is talk bad about the Black Manosphere, that's it. That's all you got to show for it. You ain't doing nothing. Yeah, I feel you on that. That's all you got to do. You know, at the end of the day, you got to keep it real. What's up, Doc? I got you. What's happening, brother? Uh-oh. Doc, tell me if you there.
Can you hear me, Doc? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. I appreciate you bringing me up. Man, I love the stream, man. I love the stream. I love the stream. Listen, man, there's not going to be another Kevin Samuels.
No.
There's not going to be another Kevin Samuels. He was a complete original. And unfortunately, I don't think that we have brothers in our space. Not to say that we don't have talent and what have you, but I don't think that the brothers we have right now have the skill sets rather that Kevin had. But that does not mean that we cannot continue to articulate what we've been articulating for the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that the message is going to continue to go forward. And I really think that, you know, it's not in our best interest to attempt to become the next HNIC. You know what I'm saying? It is not in our best interest to put ourselves individually or whatever in a position where everybody is looking at us. The condition of Black men is so deep, it is so pervasive and what have you, that you have to have an entire army talking about what's going on with us. You know what I mean? And I really do believe that we are in a position. I'm really excited. I'm sorry that Kevin is not with us anymore, but I'm excited, bro, because Kevin Samuels opened the door that many of us were not in a position to open, and the world is now looking at us. They're wondering what's going on here. Not just the Black world, but the white world. The Black Manosphere, I've said this on my own platform, is a rabbit hole right now. And once the world looks like, once the entire world, the global world, the internet world, who are not familiar with Kevin Samuels, once they tap into his content, inevitably they will find themselves in the rabbit hole of the Black Manosphere. And they will hear what all of us have been saying for years. You have been saying, you've been on this platform, you've been doing this stuff for years, man. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to find you. They're going to find BGS. They're going to find Obsidian. They're going to find Anger Man. They're going to find so many brothers who have been here working this stuff out, man, for years, and to learn from what we have to say. I mean, this is a wonderful moment that we have right now, man. And I think the last thing that we need to be preoccupied with is who's going to be next. Who's going to be next, Kevin Samuels? Man,
I
those. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, brother. I totally agree, and that's why I'm making it stream. But I've been in this space too long to not know there are people like that who exist.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like I wholeheartedly believe everybody can win in life. It's just you don't get to decide when your time is.
He's-
And the thing about it is we have a tendency when it's somebody else's time and it's not yours, the haters come out.
mhm.
And my problem is I know there are gonna be some people who look at this as an opportunity. Like the we got a level playing field now because we got one less person hoarding all the views. Like if they can get that, I could have got let me get a piece of that type of mentality. And that kills the message. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm. 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 No, no,
unfortunately that's the problem. You got
I,
it. I'm sorry.
no, no, I hear exactly what you're saying. I hear exactly what you're saying. Um, my only response to that is that those people who have that perspective, I don't see them as being very relevant. You know what I mean? I see them. These are folks who they're gonna have their little small corners in the space or what have you, and that's fine. But I don't see them having a major impact on what the Black Manosphere really means. When I say what it really means, I'm talking about in the United States and across the world. I've said this before, others have said this. Green Gorilla has said this. Dr. T.S. Johnson has said this. Black men are the canary in the coal mine. We're the canary. When it comes down to this masculinity stuff, when it comes down to how we have been ill-affected by feminism and all the policies, legislation, colonialism, the effects of slavery, and all that kind of stuff, we are the ones who have felt the brunt of all of this stuff, which means that we are in a better position than any other population on this planet to talk about what it means to be a man in the world. You know what I mean? And just to add to that, it's like I just listened to Jason Black talking about Tom Likas and talking about these white red pillars and how Kevin Samuels basically, usurped everything that he had done.
Mhm.
And the reality is that was supposed to happen. Kevin Samuels was inevitable because of the fact that he was a black man who felt the brunt of all of these forces in ways that white men cannot even fathom, which means that when he expressed himself and he articulated his perspective in the way that he did, it was not simply for entertainment. It was based on something that was very real. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that what we're doing in the Black Manosphere is very serious. You're gonna have hucksters. You have guys who have very narrow, limited perspectives that you can't do anything with them. They have a big man mentality. They have an HNIC perspective or what have you. There's nothing that you can do with those guys. But those guys are not going to define, from my perspective, those guys are not going to define the future of black men's voices in terms of globalization and global media.
I I don't think they're gonna define it. I just think the people who have using that phrase, the people who are here with bad faith, I think they're gonna have their own little space. And my hope is when they have their own little space, that we close the door on.
Mm-hmm.
Because for brothers to move forward, we can't go back and forth with the H and IC thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We can't go back and forth with the, you know, you're doing better than me, so now I got an issue thing. Because, it was all good just a week ago when we were on the same level, and now a week later, now you a sellout. Now you turned your back on. You can't move forward like that. And some of the brothers know this because there are a lot of brothers in this space that are great team players. And what I mean by team players is they stay in their lane and they stick to the message and grow the message. If it grows, fine. If it doesn't, fine. But they're team players. They're not. When somebody else grows, they're not like, oh man, I can't believe people like that person. No, they're just like, hey man, good. And the more people grow, the more it helps everybody else grow. Because if we're all in this space, that's what needs to be done. Us to grow the space.
Yeah.
We can't get mad at a person for, blowing up the space. That's what we should want.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, L.A.R., I agree with you 1,000%. You are one. I'm with you. I have no disagreements with you whatsoever. And I just think that those forces, those elements, they're gonna be there. They're like, you find them in every movement, man. Even the feminists, they have those type of recalcitrant people in their movement. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and some of them, try to distance themselves. I mean, a lot of the feminists have tried to distance themselves from those very extreme negative forces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They haven't always been successful in doing that, but I know because I'm an academic and I deal with a lot of these folks. I've seen it, in my world and what have you. But I think that I think it's just a fact. We just have to deal with that. We can't be limited by that, and we just have to go forward and what have you. And I think with Kevin, and you were there and you saw it, how so many brothers were before he passed, there was so much vitriol toward him, and there was so much animus and contention and all this and envy and everything. You know what I mean? But now that he's no longer with us, I'm hearing people who were bitter towards him. I'm not going to say names, but they were bitter towards him, who are now more conciliatory. It's like, okay, well, he's no longer here anymore, but he did serve a bigger purpose. And I don't think right now we need to engage in beef, and I don't think that we need to do all this petty stuff that some folks were doing. You know what I mean? And so Kevin opened a major door, because now with his passing, people are curious. There are people who know nothing about our space, who are wondering what's going on. And that's why I have no big problem. I don't have a problem with the women and the people, the men also, who are talking negatively about Kevin. Because the people who are talking negatively about Kevin, what they're doing is that they are instigating curiosity about Kevin. You know what I'm saying? It's negative reinforcement. It's like when we grew up, our parents told us not to smoke. They told us not to drink. They told us not to engage in all sorts of behaviors. And guess what? What happened to it? What happened? We became curious about those behaviors. Why is it that mom and dad say that we shouldn't smoke, we shouldn't drink, or we shouldn't engage in sex or whatever? And we had never engaged in this stuff, but now we're curious about it. We want to learn more about it, want to find out about it. The same dynamic applies to Kevin Samuels. So there are white people who are reading the New York Times. There are white people who are reading white publications that have black female writers who are disparaging Kevin. And let me tell you something. The white people who read those publications, those white people are saying to themselves, who is this guy? They're not just listening to black women and their gripes. They're not just saying, oh, we're just gonna listen to these black women and just leave it there at face value. Let's go to the internet, dig up his archive and see who this person was. And what does that do? That generates interest and curiosity and all that kind of stuff. So basically what I'm saying is that we are in a good space as black men. I'm sorry that Kevin is no longer with us, but the reality is that his passing has actually opened up a door that we did not anticipate.
We anticipated it. We just didn't know who it would be.
Yes.
And with him, he was the unlikely one. I'll say that. Not to say he wasn't capable, because he was very capable, but I think there were other people in the space who thought it would have been them before him, and he's thus making him the unlikely one. Thus the issue, like my issue, and what I'm talking about, and for this purpose, like you talked about the academia space. For me, I'm like, y'all are very much so welcome here. Because everybody adds to the space, but y'all were not only were you welcome, you were needed. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But there were people in this space who had an issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, y'all have an issue with everything. That was initially, I was here when Kevin first got here, and brothers had an issue with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So the expansion of a bunch of brothers, you ain't even got to come together. You ain't even got to like certain people, but to be adversarial for needed expansion, it forwards, it breeds the animosity for one in particular reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the reason is, when brothers blow up, and I've seen this and I've talked to them myself, they have to take a step back from brothers in the space because they don't know who to trust, because the same person that was cool with you start hating you.
Yeah.
And then people go, well, why this guy's not necessarily in the manosphere? He says he's not in the space, or he's kind of distanced himself. The reason why they do that is because you're not 10 toes down when these people are successful. It's we struggle friends, but if you're successful, we're not friends no more.
Yeah. And I've said this even on I've addressed this in different ways. So, I mean, we just have to recognize, man, that we black men, we have baggage in the real world, right? In everyday real world that we carry into the space and online. The stuff that that limits us outside of the internet.
Right.
That stuff carries over here, man. And I'll be honest with you, man. I don't know what to do with it. All I can say is that people like yourself and others who have a broader perspective, we just have to keep on moving, man. You know what I mean? And understand that the mission is much bigger than the people who are bound by this baggage, man. You know, so the way I look at it, and this is the way I articulate it, man. I mean, I've said this on my own platform, man. I mean, the internet, technology, others have said it, but I just have to amplify it, man. It's a major game changer for black men. This is a major game changer. We don't understand. Black men simply do not understand what it means to be able to articulate their perspectives in the way in which we're doing right now. You and I having a conversation, brother, that we couldn't have had 20 years ago.
Right.
You and I. You understand? You and I. You're not that much. I'm older than you. We're not that far apart in age. Okay. Man, I lived in Tennessee. I lived in Nashville, man, for 5.5 years, man. I know Tennessee. I know TSU and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And the thing is that we don't have to go through black women as mediators for us to have a
Right.
conversation. I don't have to ask a black woman for permission to talk to you or to talk about black men's issues. Hell, I don't have to talk to white people. I don't have to ask a white man. I don't have to ask a white woman for permission to talk to you directly about black men's issues. We're here in the worldwide internet. We're connected through technology. Thank God for Steve Jobs. You understand what I'm saying?
Paul Allen, you know,
All those people,
Dale.
all those people, they had no clue as to how they would impact us. We cut out the middleman. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I mean, we are similar, become similar generations. You know, prior to 2010, they had NBC. I'm talking about black women, others. They had ABC. They had Newsweek. They had Time Magazine. They had a whole bunch of publications and what have you that were directed at just demolishing the image of black men. And we have the universe, brother. The whole world is at our fingertips. Basically, what I'm saying is that I don't worry about some of the other guys who have limited perspectives. You know, these guys who want to be the king of the hill. These guys who jealous of Kevin because Kevin represented. Let's just put that there, man. Kevin was a bourgeois black man. He was a bourgeois black man. He was a black man who liked style. He liked looking good. He liked dressing. He was a black man who was he was very classy, elegant black man. And a lot of guys who are outside of that resent that. It made them feel insecure for whatever reasons. And I don't want to off-put these guys, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that that's just a reality. Is that
I'm sorry. I'm not gonna. There was a time not too long ago, right before Kevin's passing, because see, I had went live a while ago, just going off, because I felt like his image was the death of the real, you know, N-word or whatever, and I felt like people got a problem with that. But then people had an issue with it. Some people had an issue, and I just made a whole stream like pull up. And I told a couple of people in this space, I said, you know, if they keep having this jealousy issue, because there's certain type of people in this space and around this space who aren't even in this space who like drama. I was like, I'm about to just start taking their heads off because I'm sick of them being around, because they're always getting in the way of us progressing. And they always act like they're really about some action, but I know that they're not. And personally, I was like, I'm tired of having to hear what this person did and what this person said and what shot this person took. And I'm like, you know what? If that's so much the case, and y'all really so active being online, like you want to be a YouTube thug, let me see. Because there comes a point where people are getting in the way of other people's progress. And what I mean by people, I don't mean just content creators. I mean, you got people here who really are trying to do something and need some help in their life, but they're just getting entertained with your shenanigans. Mm-hmm. And you can't make content that's actually relevant to people's lives. You got to just keep up the shenanigans. Mm-hmm. And it's like, listen, bro. And the thing with the Kevin thing that got me was, why you keep dissing the man that don't diss you? He don't beef with nobody. So you keep taking shot. So I'm like, I don't like bullies.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a bully, okay, let's see. Let me see if you really built like that. And it wasn't to be a blow up the space war thing. It was to be, since there's a certain type of brother who likes drama and problems, I'm gonna give you what you want, so you ain't gotta look for it no more. You ain't gotta pick at people no more. Because I already know what the truth is. The truth is they don't want no problems. It's just internet BS. And sometimes you got to put people on Front Street and say, okay, well, meet me at high noon and let's see what it is. And then when it's like, that's not what I want. I knew that wasn't what you want in the first place. So why are you taking shots at this man and that man and this man and that man and this man and that man? You can't help brothers doing that.
Yeah. And again, I think it goes to a lot of internal stuff, man. It's just a lot of internal, deep, psychological stuff that is bigger than the internet, man.
Yeah, I know.
And in many ways, it's bigger than the Black Manosphere, because you're talking about people who were raised a certain way or what have you, and they have not dealt with their own personal issues in terms of how they see themselves in the world. You know what I mean? Or their own experiences and what have you. You know what I mean? But here's the thing, and I said this, I did a stream on Sunday. I talked about Kevin being a salesman. And I talked about, I don't know if you've ever seen the film, The Founder, about McDonald's, the McDonald's Corporation.
The Ray Kroc story,
yeah. Yeah, the Ray Kroc, right? So you had Ray Kroc, who was the salesman, right? And you had the guys who actually created the model for what we know today as McDonald's, in terms of burgers, fries, shakes, and all that. Those guys in California. And it's a very intricate, layered story. But here's the thing. Those guys were in a little small area in Southern California selling burgers and fries, and they would have stayed there had they not had any encounter with Ray Kroc. Okay? I don't care what you want to say about Ray Kroc. People want to, you could say he was an exploiter or whatever, but what we know as McDonald's today would not exist without Ray Kroc, the salesperson. Okay? He took a small, what we call it, a mom and pop store, and he turned it into a global enterprise. That's basically what he did. And Kevin Samuels, I see Kevin Samuels in the same way. He was a salesman. He took this little niche thing that we call the Black Manosphere, that nobody really knows about, that is specific to a small subsection of Black men on the internet. And he blew it up. He never called it the Black Manosphere. When Kevin Samuels was at the height of his influence over the last 2 years, he never said anything about the Black Manosphere. He never used the language of the Black Manosphere. But we know that all his language, his talking points, all that stuff came from the Black Manosphere. We knew that. So what I'm saying is that he was the Ray Kroc. He was the Ray Kroc of our space. And if we want to be taken seriously as Black men in the world, you have to have a Ray Kroc. If you just don't want to be in the corner of the internet where nobody knows you, and you just want to sit around and just talk about whatever, or do you want to have an impact so great that you can really affect the way in which laws are shaped? You can really affect the way in which policies are made. You can really affect the way in which media is produced. Because here's the reality, is that the people in Hollywood, the people at the larger levels, they are looking at this, and they looked at Kevin Samuels. Let me tell you something. But do not be surprised within the next 5 years if you turn to Amazon, you turn to Netflix, if you turn to any of these streaming networks, and you see them try to replicate what Kevin Samuels did over the past 2 years.
That's exactly what I said earlier. See, so one of the things brothers don't wanna deal with, you know, is respect. And what I mean by that is, and part of the fighting for the throne thing is, if you run your platform a certain way, and you got friends on this platform, and they come to your platform, you don't get to go to your friend's platform and do whatever you feel like doing. This idea that you're gonna go to your homeboy's platform and he's running it a certain way and you just gonna do whatever you want to do, and you're mad at him for saying, "Nah, I can't let that happen." And I'm saying that to say this. When you said, they're gonna, like Amazon and Netflix are gonna have something, you're gonna have to see it on the Amazon and Netflix to go, "Oh, now I see why I couldn't be on the show that time. Because I was doing this and they was doing that, and that wouldn't have been a good look. That probably would have been bad." But we gotta learn that in the time period. It shouldn't take us to watch it in a movie or a television series to realize, or you have to look at yourself retrospectively and like, yeah, I can't do that. I could do this here, but I can't do that. Like, we have to have the common sense and common courtesy to know, hey man, if they wearing suits on this show, I need to put on a suit on this show.
There you go.
If they not cussing on this show, I can't be cussing on this show. Yeah. If they don't cut people off on the show, I'm not cutting people off. It's very simple things. But part of this, I need to be the man. You want to go to everybody else's platform and just do you. And you're like, it's like, bro, what are you doing? You causing me a problem here. That's the issue.
No. I mean, I get you. You are 100. You are 100%. And I think I commented on a. You did a stream. You talked about black manosphere professionalism.
Yeah.
And I remember commenting on your stream.
I remember that.
And there was a lot that was going on at that particular moment with, guys kind of going over the edge and what have you. And I'll be honest with you, man. I had a moment. I was on Obsidian's show, and there was a woman on her show. It was during the Will Smith Jada Pinkett Smith thing, with the Oscars awards and all that kind of stuff. And it was the first time, man. I was on it was a very heated panel, man. It was a very heated. There were women on the panel. There was one particular woman on the panel, and she was making this point where she believed that Will Smith did the right thing, and that she believed that a black man should sacrifice his life to defend the honor of a woman, a black woman in particular. And that it incensed me, bro. It just completely. I just went off. And I had to think back, afterwards about that, and I was like, I kind of I went a little bit over the edge, you know what I mean? And you have to think about decorum and how you comport yourself. And I thought that what you said was very, very apropos about all of this. And we have to really be conscious of all this stuff, man, as we go forward and everything. If we are really concerned about having a bigger impact in the world, a bigger impact. Because the reality is that, the world sees us as savages. They see us as savages. We're seen as reprobates. We're seen as uncouth. We're seen as uncivilized black men, that is. and that we cannot contain our emotions and all that kind of stuff. You understand? And we have to contend with that. And so, we have to balance that with the fact that we have real issues and we have real emotions, and it's a real thing for us to express our emotions and our passions in real time. But not everybody understands the source of our passions and our emotions. You know what I mean? So we have to really know how to negotiate all that stuff. So the point I'm trying to make, man, is that you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, man. In terms of how we engage social media, and everything. But again, I have to say, man, those extremists who are among us, man, there's only so much that we can do about those folks, or we can say to those folks, because they're just extremists. And it's like, again, you can't say every Muslim on the planet is a terrorist, right? You can't say every Muslim is a member of ISIS or Al Qaeda or the Taliban. You know what I mean?
No,
you can't do that, because there's so many Muslims who have a different orientation and they repudiate all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is that the ISIS people and the Taliban, the extremists, they're gonna be there, and they are who they are.
All I'm actually trying to say at this particular point is beware, because I know it's going to happen, and then people are kind of tiptoeing to it. But also, for the people who are tiptoeing to try to quote unquote go for the throne, they got to beware too, because they don't realize, for all the people who are accustomed to playing dirty, you're not going to get the bigger person response now. That's like, I don't think people have really reconciled with the idea that maybe, just maybe, we've entered into a space where, if you're gonna treat a dude who is trying to not beef with this kind of contempt after he's gone, well, if I'm alive and you try to tiptoe around me like that, it might get ugly, because I don't trust you. I don't trust your morals. I don't trust your ethics. You get what I'm saying? I don't trust your character. So it's one of those things where brothers gonna have to, and these sisters, they're gonna have to deal with the same thing. Like, you don't. When they say heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Oh my God!
Realize if you don't even wear the crown, and you think I need to bow to you, it might get ugly very fast. And I don't want it to go there, but I'm a person who's like, hey, it's probably going to go there, because people don't want to deal with that reality. Like, we can all do our thing without stepping on each other's toes. So,
I'm with you 100%. I am with you, because I mean, I can't disagree with you, man. And all I can say, as I said before, is that we have bad actors among us. I mean, that's just a reality. Yeah, we have guys who, for whatever reason, they're off the chain. You know what I mean? And I'm no, seriously, man. That those guys those guys are off the chain, and you can't reach them. And they are what they. And hopefully, here's the thing. Hopefully that the more positive aspects of what we do will overwhelm anything that they put out into the world, the internet. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the hope, you know what I mean? And so it's like, again, like with Kevin, you know, there were aspects of his. I mean,
People
in
don't
as
agree
much
with everything, and that's
in as
okay.
in as much as I appreciated Kevin, there was a lot about Kevin that I found problematic, right? But I felt that Kevin did more good than harm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but let me, and for all the people who don't know, right? Because a lot of y'all don't listen to things fully. A lot of times, y'all listen to clips, and y'all don't know the backstory to a lot of things. And I'm just using this as a reference. When Kevin was brought into the space, and he had his brothers to work on their image, they acted just like the women, just like them. That's how I know how. That's why I know how this story is going to end with the women, because brothers acted just like, man, I ain't gonna listen to him. Look at him. Look how he dressed. He
Yeah.
bougie. Is he like, he kind of effeminate, man? Like, I'll beat his. He ain't real. And then what happened was they had to go home and look in the mirror. Yeah, bro, you wearing a polo shirt with sweatpants, and you ain't worked out in 17 years, and you ain't brushed the comb your head, or you got to look at how you going out in public. You go like you are the male equivalent to when you go to Walmart and you see the lady with the pajamas and the bonnets on.
Drag.
Yeah.
Your male drag. You're a black male drag.
Right. But then you started slowly hearing guys, look, yeah, I was talking about him 6 months ago, but listen, like even guys like me, like I'm a blue collar guy, so a lot of times I'm in my relaxing workout clothes or whatever. I'm doing video. Even guys like me or guys who quote unquote hood, guess what? They started coordinating their hood clothes a little bit better. They started presenting themselves a little bit better. And they didn't want to say nothing, but it was obvious. You get what I'm saying?
There you go.
So it's like, we already know what's going to happen. Like, so the ladies, I already know that's going to happen because, I've seen the end of this story.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the people, and even the people who don't necessarily agree with what Kevin was saying, the interesting thing was he wasn't talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that was the interesting thing. A lot of people were offended when he wasn't talking to you because he had been in this space so long. He was talking to the people who wanted to live the fabulous life.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what most Americans wanted. They want the fabulous life, the American dream. And they think they could just show up any way to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, just like he told the dudes, no, you can't just wake up one day and say, you know what, my masculinity means I got the fabulous life. It's like, no, you gotta work.
You gotta work, yeah.
You gotta work. Like, what are you talking about?
You're right, and you're absolutely right. I mean, it was the same. I mean, he was the same way with the women. The way he dealt with the way he dealt with the men is the way he dealt with the women. And what you're pointing out is that the women that you're talking about and the men you're talking about, they have the same orientation, the same the worldview, that they don't have to do anything. We can just show up, male or female, and that's it. And we don't have to put any effort into showing the world that we have something to, I'm gonna say it, to offer that's significant. Okay.
Exactly.
And that's just the reality, man.
I'm cleaning my show up a little bit because you know what, Kevin, you're right. Yeah. You're right. I could have done stuff years ago. I just didn't, out of my own laziness, because I make content like people, drink water. It's be coming and coming and coming and coming. I'm like, look, man, I ain't doing all that, dude. I got a lot of stuff that I'm coming out with. But
I would say the same thing. The same thing for me. So it's like, bro. I'm a full-time professional. I'm an academic. I got to write. I got all kind of stuff. I ain't got time to be editing a whole bunch of videos and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And doing a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm invested in this. He did it full time or whatever. I didn't vibe with a lot of his, and I call it exceptionalism. I didn't vibe with a lot of it. It didn't register with me because he and I were not radically different from age.
Mhm.
I understand the world that he's talking about. I've lived in that world. You know what I mean? And there was stuff that he said about the world that world, upper class world, that I don't agree with. That I
Yeah,
got problems with. Okay.
absolutely.
And
Look, absolutely. But the irony of it is, and you weren't here when years ago, when every conversation the Black Manosphere has, and I know you know this.
yeah,
So with men and women, we've had the people who are mainstays in this space.
yeah,
They've had these conversations 5 to 10 years.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they don't. So people who are trying to converse with these people don't realize how often these brothers have had these conversations.
There you go. There you go.
And how normal it is. So you got a lot of brothers who are trying to educate people when they're like the 150th version that a person has dealt with, not knowing, playing the I'm special game.
There you go.
so they don't realize these brothers are way, like, they're ahead of you.
Ahead.
And even exactly. So that's the, like, even with the Kevin thing, that's the thing with even BGS and everybody else. It's like, we know how bad the participation trophy mentality has gone.
Yeah.
And it hurts people's feelings when we say, hey man, sorry, but the participation trophy, you can be the MVP of the participation trophy mindset, but they ain't gonna give you nothing for that. Not in real life.
There you go. There you go. There you go. And that's why I said, man, I give a shout out to you, man, because, you know, man, I mean, years ago, man, I've seen you. I mean, you've been here damn near 10 years, man. You know what I'm saying? And I recognize it, man. I give a shout out to you, man, and the stuff that you did, and you taking your time. You weren't trying to prove anything to anybody. Being yourself. Talking about your story and your situation and dealing with regular black men. I mean, I resonate with you, man, because I mean, again, we from the same darn generation, man, and the same the stuff that you saw and you dealt with, the stuff that I saw and I dealt with. You know what I mean? It don't matter the fact that I got a PhD and I work at an elite white institution, but I'm like, man, in the 1990s, so when you talk about the 90s, it was funny, man. You talking about Freaknik. L.A.R, man. I was in Atlanta, man. In 96, in 95. I was in Atlanta in 96. I was in Atlanta in 97. I was in Atlanta. L.A.R, bruh. I was in Atlanta in 1998, man. I lived in Atlanta, man. So I know everything that you're talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee in 1998, man. And I lived in Tennessee, man, for 5 years, man. Nashville, Tennessee in particular. And I was always in and out of Atlanta and Tennessee and Nashville and all that whole mid-South area and all that kind of stuff, man. So I mean, I feel you, man, 1,000%, my brother. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, the reality is, man, you know, we black men, despite, you know, where we are positioned or whatever, man, you know, we have stuff that connects all of us together. You know what I'm saying? Even though Kevin had this image or whatever, I tell guys, y'all look at the stuff that Minister Jeff put out with Kevin in the 1990s,
and they were cool,
stuff like that.
Young people don't realize they Jap and Kevin were really cool.
You look at Jap and Kevin, man. You look at Minister Jap, you look at Kevin, Jap put out a whole video, and I saw this when the Jap first put it out about 2 years ago, whatever. We talked about popular culture in the 1990s, and Kevin responded to it and all that kind of stuff. And Jap is much younger than Kevin, you know what I mean? And Jap is younger than us, right? And it's like there are things that we black men recognize across generations that are just real, based on our experiences that are undeniable. It don't matter where you are. You grew up in the hood, you grew up lower, middle class or whatever. You grew up in the middle class, but if you were dealing with black people at a particular time in the 90s and in the 2000s, that stuff was just there. You know what I mean? So the point is that we cannot get overly preoccupied in all these distinctions that are put out there. Though Kevin was a kind of bourgeois black man, Kevin loved black people. Kevin loved black men. Kevin wanted the best for black men, all black men. And Kevin did not, I don't care what people say, even talking about the high value men, Kevin wanted the working class black man to be respected. He wanted the black man who was an HVAC, the black man who was a carpenter, the black man who was a mechanic, the black man who was a plumber. He wanted that black man to be respected. If you listen to him.
Let me say something that I know very well. When I was, me and O'Shea real cool. That's my guy. And O'Shea and Kevin are cool, And when Kevin made that set switch and he switched over and he started and the intros and everything, right before he did it, him and O'Shea had a conversation and he told O'Shea, he's like, yeah, man, I didn't spend X amount of dollars on equipment and this, and I'm switching it up, and I'm gonna have this whole little thing going. And O'Shea was like, and he talked to me, he's like, man, he about to make a move. It's like, and O'Shea's like, I don't know if it's gonna work or how it's gonna work, but we finna see. And one of the things that O'Shea respected was he was willing to take a risk and bet on himself, because O'Shea's done that plenty of times. And I say that to say this. People don't realize at the end of the day, he believed in himself. And he's telling people,
that's it.
You're just like me, O'Shea. I remember back in the day with me and him, we had that conversation about him wanting to do a certain kind of content. I was like, dude, owning or having stuff like other people. And I was like, dude, it's your stuff. Do you be you? And he had that moment where he was like, a brother's gonna actually support a brother doing this, and it floored him in a positive way. He was like, black men do support black men, because that was an argument at the time that black men don't support black men.
There you go.
And he was like, yes. He said, we got something, because brothers do show out for brothers. So people are not really taking into consideration that part of this concept of people wanting to be the man, we're not gonna, what's gotta be defended is the idea that we're not gonna blow up a space where brothers support brothers because other brothers wanna be the king of the hill. This is a public space where you're seeing brothers support other brothers. Brothers have information for other brothers. Brothers have useful tools to use for other brothers. Yes, there's gonna be some issues, some blow ups, some controversies. I get all that, but we're not gonna play if I don't have it my way, I'm gonna take my ball back and blow it up, and then no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
No. We are not doing that, and I'm a firm believer that black men have the capacity to support and sustain black men's media.
Oh,
and black men's initiatives. I'm totally convinced of that.
let me say this real quick, Doc. For all people who don't really realize how cool and at the time how cool Jap and Kevin was. There was a time Jap was wearing a fur coat, right? And him and Kevin was, they was going back and forth. Kevin showed up online. I don't remember if it was Instagram or YouTube. He had like a Cameron pink or fuchsia fur coat, and he was standing next to the car. He was like, "Jap, where you at?"
I saw that video. I saw that video. I remember that.
So, y'all got to know the camaraderie has always been there. There's been the friendships, the fallouts, but they've been the people who patch it up. And for y'all who don't know, don't go at Jap any kind of sideways. Like he cool, because he doesn't. If y'all don't know this, I'll tell y'all. It's just I know some things, but I'm gonna just speculate. Looking back on it, he wishes they could have patched things up before he passed, because it wasn't that serious. So if y'all think a person like Jap is going to like, man, I can't believe you. Just know, at his heart, Jap wish he could have patched things up.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this: I saw those videos. Okay, I saw those videos back in, what was that? Maybe 2017, 2018, something like that. I was following Kevin, and Kevin had the furs on and all that kind of stuff, hollering at Jap. Okay. And Jap recognized him, and Jap was like, "That's my nigga right." I'm sorry, I'm put like that.
That's all good.
That's my nigga right there. Okay. And I ain't gonna lie, cause I'm a style guy. That I like to dress. I like to look good. I like Kevin, cause nigga, I like cologne. I like looking fly. There are black men who like looking fly. You know what I'm saying? That's just some real. I'm sorry.
Hey man, look. This just some real. This some real. Can I say it? This some real nigga shit right here, man. You got niggas who like looking fly, man. That's just some real shit. I like looking fly. I saw Kevin looking fly. He was like, Jap. I saw those videos, man. I saw those videos just like you did. You know what I'm saying? And he was in Atlanta. You know what I mean? They were like competing with each other. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you know what I'm saying? Jap is out there in Chicago, looking fly, doing his stuff. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing here in Atlanta. You know what I mean? And so game recognized game, man. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. Because speaking of looking fly, for all you brothers, if you ain't even subscribed to Style OG and you're a black man, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Say what you will. I've told people all the time, the way I dress off of YouTube ain't the way I dress on YouTube. I'm a person. I wake up 4-5 in the morning, go work out, come home, go to work. Work on these videos, maybe sometimes do podcasts, do the yard, do the roof, do the plumbing, I'm one of them dudes. So when I'm here, I ain't got time. I'm just like, hey man, let me get it out because I got things to do. But if I'm going out,
That's it. But listen, man, you've been so generous with your time, man. I really appreciate you, man, hosting me on your platform, brother. This is our first time doing it, man, brother. You one of the class acts on YouTube, man. I want to give a shout out to you, man. You've been laying it down for years and years and years and years, man. And I appreciate your grace and your diplomacy and everything that you've done, man. And man, much blessings to you, my brother. Thank you for hosting me, man.
Man, anytime, Doc. But I'm gonna say this publicly, so you know what my role is in this space.
Yeah.
I just create a lot of content. Some of it is about relationship, but most of it is about life and stuff. Yeah. I'm the guy, that tells everybody. I've told everybody this for years. If you ever get a a lull, and you like, I'm just running out of content. I don't know. That's what all my playlist is for. That's for black men to go, you know what? I ain't got nothing to talk about today. Go in the playlist and you'll find something. That's why I started making better thumbnails, so you ain't even gotta watch the video. The thumbnail might make you laugh. You're like, you know what? I can talk about that. That's what my job is in this space. And that's why you never see me hating on somebody, because people have taken things that I've put up or taken concepts and they've done videos and they've done it, and I don't care. Yeah. Because if black men, this is a black male space, there's got to be a black male who do things for black men. If people do it, they do it. If they don't, they don't. But they know, everybody who's in this space knows why it's there. Yeah. So you know why it's there now. You see what I'm saying?
I know why it's there, man. And let me tell you, man, you're a major player, man. I see you as a major player in this space, man. And you've been consistent for years. And I've watched you and everything, and what you put out there, and the quality of the content, man. So, and that's why I'm here, man, because I appreciate you, man. You know what I mean, and everything that you've done, man. So again, I appreciate you hosting me, man. And we gonna do this again, brother.
Absolutely.
All
you
right,
have
man.
a good night. I'm gonna shut it down too. Tell, Green Gorilla and Dr. TSI. He already know. I be sending him messages every now and then on Facebook. So he know.
Yes, sir, man. We will do it again.
All right.
Care,
peace.
Man. Peace out.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think I've been here almost 2 hours. I'm gonna go to bed because my dog is, he's sleeping. I don't want to wake him up. So thank y'all. Thank y'all very much for just staying. You know what I'm saying? And I hope you got something out of this. So as Russell Simmons would say, thank y'all for coming out. God bless and good night.
This looks like a job for Superman.
Do this,
Spoken from the lips of the young or the old, bear of me.
Yeah, gotta put it all in.
And they are Superman.
All the way. I guess I'm taking off the cape through the glasses in the trash. Being super is great, saving y'all is such a drag. Even God took a break, me I ain't coming back. I got one life to live, if you don't like it, that's your ass. Cause nobody saved me, plus when I'm drunk, I'm just a peon. I could use somebody just like I'm the kings of neon. This world is cold as ice, mixed with salt, mixed with freon. They got me pissed off, but that's better than being peed on. For eons, human beings took kindness for weakness. When you constipated, you start to appreciate shit. Put before you life and death, and you just gotta choose. The kryptonite life means you should follow the rules. If your credit's messed up or your bills ain't paid, then it's getting disconnected. Can't nobody say the day. And I can fly, leave a building in a single bound, but I can't stand fair weather friends, and I just fly around. My super friends is Justice League. Only folk I kick it with. Kill Lex Luthor, so what, we had to finish it. Kids play games and adults play for keeps. And me, I play to win, but I ain't playing in these streets. And life is not a joke, then again it ain't this serious. Superman can say the day, but God can say the Superman. Saga of the kryptonite, life just ended. You enjoy listening? Man, I'll finish it. Lois, come holler at me. I got an ice couch. Thank you for coming out, listening. I knew you would like it because we made it. I'm so frigid and so fly.